Yes. Welcome to yet another episode of the Research and Innovation Podcast. My name is your Uncle Kyle, and of course, you know there is no substitute for quality. And in this episode, I am delighted to be joined by Dr. Saidi, who is actually a very respected linguistic academic leader as well, and one of the first PhD graduates from Midland State University. He currently serves as the postgraduate studies manager, if I'm not mistaken, and also leads the Dike, which is MSU's flagship research journal, as editor-in-chief. Amongst other things, Dr. Saidi has built a career at the intersection of language, culture, research, and academic leadership. And today he helps shape the future of postgraduate education at MSU. So we are really excited to tap into his journey, insights, and impact. Dr. Saidi, we welcome you to the Research and Innovation Podcast.
Tinokutendai nekutirangarirawo nekutiunza pastage ino. I hope ndinobvumidzwa kutaura neshona.
Zvakanakisa.
Zvakanaka.
Nyika yedu ine ma languages 15.
16.
Yes, 16 actually.
Recognized neconstitution yedu. Saka pamuchandibvunza zvimwe ndichangotawo ndichisanganisa.
Okay.
Ndaida chose kuti ndizotaura ni chirungu, chishona, ndebele, tonga, nambia, kusvika kune SR 16. Asi ndinozokanganisa mamwe. Saka ndichangozama kuda kusanganisa ni two languages, which is English neshona.
All right. Getting into it straight, Doctor. Ndonga mungangoti batsira by giving us a quick snapshot yekuti Dr. Saidi ndiani. Who is Dr. Saidi? What's your professional background, and what kind of work do you actually do on a day-to-day basis? I know I might have mentioned a little of what you have achieved and part of what you are doing now, but that you see fit kuti munge muchi share ne ma listeners edu.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm a linguist, by training, by profession, and that has also taken me into research. So I'm also a researcher. And the two, being a linguist and a researcher, has actually really drawn me to then become also an academic administrator.
All right.
That then speaks to the postgraduate studies manager that you've talked about, from which then my day-to-day really work, although research yatinoti tsvakurudzo maringe nenyaya dzine chekuita nezvinhu zviri linguistic based, culture based, it really takes me into, or it has taken me into yatinoti isusu applied linguistics, tichitarisa zvinhu zvakaita se-strategic communication, knowledge, indigenous knowledge systems, cultural studies, things like that. So as the postgraduate studies manager, from the academic administration side, my day-to-day work is linked towards coordinating the work that our postgraduate studies students and postgraduate studies vision yeuniversity is concerned. Zvireva kuti mubasa rangu ndinobata zvikuru nyaya dzine chekuita nevadzidzi vedu vatingati vadzidzi vepamusoro soro. Ndaita kutsinhira nekuti vadzidzi vakamboita madegree rekutanga, saka anenge akuda kuita rechi2 uye rechi3, kuti masters inoitwa munhu ambopedza first degree rake, akuda kuita inonzi masters kuti achiwedzerawo ruzivo rwake, udzamu hwekunzwisisa zvaanenge gona angatanga akaita, nevanenge vakaita mamasters vanenge vakuchida kunyatsorodzwa kuti vanyatsotesvuka chaizvo. Ndo vandakunyanya kushanda nawo on a day-to-day basis. I am a students anenge achiita ma-research different kind of fields. Almost every faculty that is represented here at the institution, we have students who are doing PhDs. We are students who are doing their masters by research. So ndo vatinoshanda nawo on a day-to-day basis.
All right. And when I was researching about you, I also found out that you are one of Midland State University's first PhD graduates and now work at the same university again. What has it been like growing professionally, Muripa, same institution here in Midland State University?
Well, it has been very much rewarding, I would say, although it has not been without its own challenges. Rewarding in the sense that I have grown professionally because of the vision here, Midlands State University, and being one of the pioneer PhD graduates. You will notice that the period that I did yacho. When you pioneer, muruku tanga kuvhura mugwagwa, so to speak, and the policies of the universities, how they are tested, how gaps are being identified, and basically growth the university through so-called new programs that would have been introduced, and I was one of those who began when the vision to produce PhDs was actually beginning to take its shape. So you then understand how proud I am, and how I've also managed to contribute to that vision, having joined the institution itself. Not as a student, but also as an employee, as one who is on the other side. So professionally growing, yes, but also contributing to the growth of the institution itself. So we have now so many people we have, who have already graduated, and those who are to graduate, and a number really are graduating because I've also contributed to what they've become or what they are going to become.
Mataura pokutanga mukati basa renyu ndere kushanda futi nevane nge vachida kuwedzera zvidzidzo zvavo, tikutaura kubva pa degree tichienda pa masters neku doctorate amongst others. What's one practical tip yamungapa kuno munhu or someone who is currently doing their PhD?
Well, you have to create a routine, fixed and really stick to it, because PhD it can be a lonesome kind of journey, where you are not really expected to operate in isolation. And this you asked me that this, as an advice to say, what can I advise? With the same question really has also been asked by the institution to say, how can we assist our PhD students or our students who are carrying out their masters by research? Because we are saying madzidziro aunenge uchiita is just you and your supervisor or supervisors vaunenge wakaitwa assigned to. So you may get to a point where kwaunenge uchiita operate from, because you may not necessarily be operating from the institution physically, but from either from home or any other station where you are based. So it can be lonesome in the sense kuti it's hauna mamwe ma students haunenge uchiita interact now every day as compared to one who is in a class, for example. So from that angle, you would notice that as postgraduate studies office, we've actually and as an institution come up with various activities that seemingly bring together PhD students and even all postgraduate studies students virtually through my workshops, through my seminars and so on, so that as a student you are constantly in touch with what others are doing. It doesn't matter could somebody is doing a PhD in chemistry and somebody is doing a PhD in governance and public management. The fact that you are at that level, there are very basic aspects that you share. So anyone who is contemplating to join or anyone who is already doing it, the idea at least for us as at Midland State University, and if you are our student, you need to remain in touch, create that particular routine, and follow it, and make sure that you are not walking this journey alone. Because for us as MSU, we will never leave you to walk alone.
Sure.
We'll always be with you. Yes.
Just like Liverpool. Do you watch soccer?
Yes, I do watch
okay,
soccer,
but I know you might not
I
support.
also play.
Oh.
Yes, I hope you're not going to ask me my favorite local and European
team.
Teams. Yeah.
Okay. No, the good thing that is that you watch it. I only mentioned that because you mentioned that you never walk alone with MSU. Now, you've done a lot of work in linguistics and culture, Doc. Which parts of the country have you worked in the most? And probably you can reflect to us why you probably chose those countries or ended up working the most in those countries.
Maybe let me recategorize that to say the area to which I'm professionally trained in is so broad that it would be sort of misfiring to say. The next question would be to say which branch really or branches of linguistics have I been interested much in.
Okay.
I have to give this disclaimer so as to answer better your question. You see, I've been so much interested because with the linguistics. Okay, I'll try to give two dimensions to it. Say, are you following the theoretical kind of linguistics or applied?
Okay.
And the higher you go, the more you get to the applied side, to which I am really interested in an area which is referred to as semiotics, that touches more into to do with communication and so forth. So my work has been to look at how knowledge is generated, or how knowledge is developed, how knowledge is disseminated to those who really deserve it. For instance, you find somebody doing, say, or generating a knowledge in chemistry, or generating knowledge in biology, that is a bearing akuna mbuya vari kumusha uku. Saka isu as linguists, because we are somewhere at the middle in terms of how then do we deal with meaning, kuti waita zvawaita agriculture and so on, but mbuya vari kushandisa these things zvinorevei. At the end of the day, it's not so much of being knowledgeable in translating, but sort of decoding material kuti ishandire the ordinary person. Right. Okay. So my work has been to then try and deal with this particular knowledge in terms of how we interpret it, and in terms of how it is sort of consumed, how is it packaged, with what kind of effects. Hence, you notice that if you look at my work, it touches even on the knowledge systems, the indigenous knowledge systems. Recently I've been working with international colleagues in areas of monitoring and evaluation. Zvinonyanya kuitwa nema-NGOs kuti vanoita come up with a program and so on. How then do we go back and say a program yanga iri successful or not? And pane lots of debates that have been happening around my issues there, which since time immemorial we've had the so-called NGOs coming in, but vakangodai program yacho upenyu hwavanhu hausikuvandudzika and so on. So what is really causing those things and so forth? So I've also come in from really a linguistics kind of perspective, which then puts me to say, I cannot pin to say in Zimbabwe I've worked on in Gweru or Shurugwi or Harare. I would say I've worked with everyone who is in every part of Zimbabwe, because the target really is those marginalized or forgotten kind of groups that reside in every part of our country. You look at, of course, I've started physically or geographically speaking with Matabeleland North, because my PhD was looking at the Batonga people, who reside in the Zambezi Valley. So from that, I've been sort of coming in, being interested in the riverine cultures, riverine as people who stay, closer to rivers or closer to where waters are. But then you notice this has also even taken me to the so-called forgotten groups, women, children, people living in the rural areas and so forth. From my research, I've also grown to a point where I've been part of the Midland State University, research teams that have, been undertaking national surveys. We have some that we have already completed, others that are already running, and others that are coming. And my contribution as a social scientist from that kind of perspective has been to really foresee or contribute knowledge and ideas that have a policy kind of dimension to which the various government departments are currently using such kind of outcomes to really feed even into the national blueprints that you read about. So yes, in terms of our names being very visible, you may not easily find them, but in terms of work, we are the crew behind the scenes.
Yes,
right? But that has been mainly my work. Individually, yes, I've published in the areas that I've talked about. Individually, I've also published collaboratively with others in the country and outside our borders. Then in the national surveys that I've been talking about, we have also even gone beyond our borders to try and really gain knowledge of how other countries are doing it, to try and feed into our own country. So primarily my work really touches much of Zimbabwe, but to do so you also needed to go international. Maybe by extension, I must also, as you were introducing me, you indicated that I am the editor-in-chief of our academic journal, which is a multidisciplinary journal. I have published as undertaking my research, testing that knowledge at various international conferences, either held in the country or outside, but I've also published others.
Okay.
Through my role as editor-in-chief, and that has also exposed me to and guided even other seasoned scholars who have also published either in the dike itself, or we have also or are publishing in other journals on various kind of platforms. So you notice that like I said, to emphasize the the crew behind the scenes, and as editor, when you work on a certain document or on a certain research report, you are that third or fourth eye that works with the primary author, for whatever they have to actually get into print. So my work really is everywhere, if you ask me.
It's been quite an interesting talk, Doc Saidi, being with you here on the Research and Innovation podcast, and we are hoping that this won't be the first and last edition to be having you on this podcast. Probably next time we also want you to come through and tell us about other publications and other endeavors that you are embarking on. as a researcher as well, and as a doctor. We really thank you very much for coming through. And to our valued listeners and audience, we really want to thank you very much for tuning in to yet another insightful infotainment and edutainment program, which is the Research and Innovation Podcast. There's more that is going to come, and we just want you to make sure that you comment, you share, you subscribe, and make sure that you also share with your loved ones as well. My name is your Uncle Kyle, and we will meet again on the next episode. It's bye bye for now.